it'll be interesting to see how the jungle matches up.
Yeah. So, in terms of the bot lane matchups, Jimmy the Slayer was not gifted the gift of top lane this game. It looks like he's going to have to support. He and Problems will be holding down the bot lane for blue side, as well as Cutie Kitty and High Iron Bones, with that fantastic Janna Graves burst combo there. How do you think the Lucian Thresh is going to match up between the Janna Graves on the bot lane?
Well, it's interesting because they're both such heavy brawl lanes. Mm-hmm. But it depends on it all. It's all going to come down to whether or not Cutie Kitty can hit her shields on the correct time. I've played with her in the past. She's a pretty phenomenal Janna player. She's got a little bit of rust in a couple areas, but if she can get her shields on point, get them before the buckshots come down or before the hooks land, then we should be seeing a lot of fade trades going in the favor of the Graves side of this matchup.
Right.
But if those shields are even just a little bit late, you're going to be seeing the hook flay combo come in onto either Janna or Graves, and it's just going to be one-sided trades coming down. I don't expect any kills coming for either team just because both supports peel so well.
Right.
But it's definitely possible if the junglers show up.
Yeah, I would say so. Jungle pressure is going to be high in, high for red side. P-Tux has a little bit more ganking potential than Nunu does, having that cocoon that he can throw out there. But Nunu, like we said before, the Nunu snowball will ruin your day if it shows up at the correct time. That's just how it is.
Yep.
And people are like, oh, it's just a slow. A slow will ruin your day if it shows up at the correct time.
Yeah, it's a 3-second slow. That also means you can't attack anything.
Right.
That slow is stupid.
It's pretty dumb.
Oh my goodness. It's almost as bad as Poppy Passive.
Oh my goodness, Poppy Passive. Nothing is as bad as Poppy Passive. Maybe Poppy Ulti, but that's about it. It's like, I'm getting your carry. What are you going to do about it? Well, nothing. I literally have to walk past you because I can't do you anything. There's nothing that can be done.
I have to watch as you murder my friend.
Yeah.
Cold-blooded murder.
The only thing I can do is try to murder your friend as fast as you're murdering mine, and come late game, it's just not going to happen. Oh my goodness. So overall, between these two team comps, what are their win conditions? What are they looking to do in order to really put this game in their favor?
Well, let's start with the red side, because this is probably the most easily understandable one. Anytime you see a Janna, you expect kind of a siege disengage comp, which Xerath supplements very well. I'm not quite sure how Rek'Sai is going to fit into it entirely, and Graves' short attack range is going to be a little bit harder to get into towers, but because he's so durable, he can, walk in, get a couple shots with the Janna shield, back up, get the tower, and the cocoon from coming out of Elise is just great. This team can also be played as a pick comp, because Rek'Sai's got that the knock-up, the ability to jump over walls. Xerath has his stun. Cocoon can come out of a bush out of nowhere. So I would expect either a siege or a pick play coming out of red side. What do you think about blue team, man?
Blue team's got fantastic siege capability. If they want to force people off turrets, they can do it with Lucian ulti, Azir poke, and Azir's soldier summoning ability that can do significant damage to turrets as well, but they're not going to be quite the same as Red Side. Red Side's definitely got the advantage in terms of how well they can push people off those waves. I'd say they want to play around the Nunu. They want to get the snowballs down in the jungle. They want to, play around that absolute zero ultimate in the brushes, deny vision, get the thresh hooks down on people, and look for these tighter fights in the jungle, because that's where their zone control comp really thrives. They've got the Azir wall and his soldiers. They've got the Nunu absolute zero. They've got the thresh box they can throw down, and those tight spaces are going to work towards their team. So look for them to draw people into the jungle.
Good point. I definitely do like. Now that you mention it, this zone control coming out of blue team is something that's really not abused very much in League, but it's a really cool concept, and I hope we see it kind of shine through the cracks right now. Okay, we're going to pose this in a different light then. We know what both teams can do to succeed. What does each team do if they fall behind to come back? That's
going to be kind of rough, because I think both of the top laners, if left alone and given enough farm, can kind of carry the entire game. Rek'Sai with, a Tiamat and a couple tank items can kind of 1v3 people. Like, surprisingly, Yi is always a factor if he's given enough farm under his belt. So I think if given behind, they want to play around their top laners. They also want to play a little bit more objective control game. Like we said with the poke, Xerath can force people off these objectives. If red side is behind, they want to just throw down more Xerath poke than they normally would before they want to enter into these team fights. Whereas blue team is going to be looking for just even more picks. I'd say if you're behind on blue team, a hook, straight into Master Yi, Alpha Strike, and some Lucian damage could never go wrong. So you always want to just look for the same things, I'd say, but in smaller quantities. Always look for the man advantage.
Yep, that makes sense. And just quick shout out to Nihasa. I can't quite pronounce your name, man, but welcome to the stream. Glad to see you joining us, dude. Hope you have a good time if you decide to stick around and watch the game. Maybe you can get a next game too.
Yeah. So he's asking, are these teams that are pre-made, but are they just getting people into teams? And thank you. Nihasa, we are the LowElo community. What we do right now, or what we're doing today, is we've got a LowElo chat room in your client. You can go in there and join and talk to people, join normal games and all that sort of stuff. But Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we do these community casted games where we pull people from that chat room into a custom game, and then we just kind of cast it, do some analysis, let people know what they can be doing a little bit better and try to improve your League of Legends play a bit. Yeah,
it's just about having fun, maybe getting some more game knowledge and just enjoying the game with some different people. A little bit more stress-free, I would guess, or I would say. Oh my goodness! All right, so let me go ahead and set this up. We do see Thresh starting with the Relic Shield. Love it. I absolutely love it. Finally, I would expect nothing else from Jimmy the Slayer.
Yeah, gets that Relic Shield down. He's probably going to pop both his stacks on these two. Actually, misses one of them, but gets to the next two, or actually the next one. He still has one stack left.
Yeah.
Good shield timing from Janna coming out onto High and Bones. I think the actual buckshot damage went out before the shield could proc, but it did protect him from any sort of follow-up coming out.
Yeah, what do you think of both on the top side? We're going to look at this Yi-Rex side real quick. Both of them went for the Doran's shield. What do you think of this?
Now, this is going to be a little bit risky for Master Yi, I think. I think he'd be a little bit better off with a Longsword 3-pot, considering that Rek'Sai's got the superior sustain. He's going to have to burn his Meditate cooldown in order to really get that health back, whereas all Terry's got to do is dive underneath the dirt and he's golden. So, I think that the Doran shield, like I said, better for Terrio, worse for Froshi.
Okay, definitely makes sense. Does I'm not quite sure on the interaction of the burrow under the ground. Is it a percentage increased heal, or is it just flat increased heal?
It's a flat amount based on what level you are.
Okay. So, honestly, I feel like, considering that, he could probably just go for the Cloth 5 and just be fine, too.
Yeah, what I will say is the Doran shield does better than Cloth 5 in low damage situations. If you've got someone who's really looking to trade a lot, like a Riven, you want to go that Cloth 5. But if you know it's someone's going to be a little bit slower, say, I don't know, like a Nasus or something, you could probably get away with the Doran shield.
Okay, that makes sense. Being that I don't play top lane, I'm always going to ask these questions. Doran shield always feels like a worse option to me than Cloth 5.
Yeah. Alright, so bottom lane, it looks like Jimmy the Slayer along with Problem's going to go in on Cutie Kitty. Double shot lands on the back of Janna there, and it looks like she's going to have to walk away from that situation. Potions being popped on both, or on Cutie Kitty and not on Jimmy quite yet. Still has all three of his. He's getting low. It's going to signal that he's going to have to get his now. Good hook comes out, though, and he's going to probably fly into that one. Good Tornado stops him from getting the full way. Cutie Kitty is in, landing these auto attacks onto Lucian. Make sure that he does not go in. And then it looks like all the bits on Nunu is sneaking into this brush. I do not know if the enemy team saw him. No pings have come out to say that he has. But it looks like blue team did let him know that there's a ward in the next brush.
Yeah, they're playing back right now while they're waiting for Jimmy the Slayer to get some mana, so we can see that hook lantern play coming in for all the bits. But it looks like all the bits is going to be a little bit impatient, not willing to wait that long.
Yeah, it's typical jungle fashion. You kind of just start your recall if you don't think anything's going to happen, and that way if something does happen, you can cancel it real quick and react. But if something looks like it's not going to go down, you just don't waste any time getting to base as quickly as possible. He's going to go ahead and pick up that Trailblazing Smite, which is going to allow him to clear the jungle very, very quickly.
I can
stay healthy.
I like it. Yeah, I like it. Nunu probably doesn't even need the help, but Trailblazer is definitely a really good pickup for him.
Yeah.
Azir is actually losing the CS lead in the mid lane. We haven't been paying that much attention to it, but Azir is down 5 CS and out of mana at the moment.
Yeah, I'm going to jump out of directed camera here and just take a look at this mid lane. Barracan just lent some poke on DCB there, and DCB is very low in mana, so he's going to be really start struggling versus this versus this Xerath, considering that Xerath has got that nice mana regen passive. It's going to bring his mana up nice and high, and that way he can keep those lightning bolts coming out. And DCB, I think, is just going to get pushed in here. I'd say this is a great time for Nunu to show up in this mid lane. If he had had his Chilling Smite on that Stalker's Blade, I'd say that'd be an even better gank. All the bits getting spot out by a ward from Teria, and he does not have a sweeper up to clear that quite yet.
I mean, I definitely like the decision to pressure top lane right here by all the bits, though. You see Master Yi trying to freeze the lane in a really good position, forcing Terry into an overextended position. So just good map reading by all the bits. Is he just going to waddle away from Elise with his blood boil?
Yeah, a little bit of wasted time there coming out of all the bits. I take that back completely as he's landed a pink ward right in this deep brush, but it looks like the vision from P-Tux's Raptor buff is going to signal him that there's a ward there. Wasted pink ward, unfortunately, but it was a good try for some deep vision because that ward location will give you a lot of information about where your jungler is going.
Yeah, oh my goodness, Darth Frost, a little bit of a fat finger on this flash right there. Going to take a bit of a trade, and that's probably going to force him back.
Yeah, and now we're seeing the repercussions of taking that early Doran shield as he's forced to go back, while Terry is just well and good on this healing. Oh my goodness.
I'm kind of wondering if a cloth, or not a cloth, but a flask plus 3-pot would have been better for the Master Yi. We haven't seen a lot of extended trading in. For what he's regenerated off of and blocked with that Doran shield, we probably could have seen the mana from the flask be enough to a combination of the mana, the healing, and the meditate on Master Yi been enough to compensate. So maybe a bit of poor itemization. All the bits runs into Elise at the tri-brush, the blue side tri-brush right there.
Yeah, gets forced into the lane here. He's actually going to smack a minion for himself and then head back into the jungle. But Elise is still sitting there. P-Tux lands a great cocoon onto him, and it looks like the damage from his execute's not going to be quite enough. He's wanted to get one or two more auto attacks in there, maybe a few with the spiders before he tried to finish him off. Top lane, Teria uses that ulti cooldown to return back to lane. One of the handy things you can do on Rek'Sai.
I mean, that's one of the
going down in the top lane though. Froshi just using that true damage to go in. A good tornado denies the full all-in from Jimmy the Slayer once again on this Thresh. He's forced to back up again, but the good thing about this blue team is they've got a little bit more mana, and they will be able to stick in the lane for a little bit longer.
Yeah, Cutie Kitten definitely playing out of her mind right now with the peel on, NATOing Thresh out of his hooks and all this play we're seeing. Excellent shields coming out of her. Just good play. Unfortunately, not going to get rewarded with a CS lead as Lucian is up 13 CS. Just a little bit better mechanically out of problems, getting a couple more last hits.
Yeah, for sure. DCB showing up on the top lane, looking for the gank on Teria, but he's just going to tunnel right out of that when he's in this top lane brush. Exhaust goes down and gets knocked out by the dash in from Azir, but it looks like he's just going to use another one of his tunnels to get right under to the turret there, and not really worry about this Azir. In the mid lane, Barracan is going to respond to that roam with a nice push into the turret, and he's going to deny some of these minions. He's got a 21 farm lead now.
Yeah, this is I definitely like DCB recognized. This is kind of what we were talking about earlier. DCB was falling behind and he recognized that fact. So he decided to go and gank the lane. He wanted to get some pressure on the map. So he made an aggressive play. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out. Oh, Nunu picks up the blue there. Bit awkward. Not where you want to be with Azir. He's going to run out of mana pretty quick here. But DCB trying to get map pressure when he's behind, trying to do something, because you're not going to be able to outpush this there and get tower pressure. So he's just trying to do something else.
Yeah, I'd say that his roam was a very good idea, but if it were me in the mid lane who's behind, you want to show up to a lane that's ahead to try to take advantage or reap the rewards of their advantage. Up in the top lane, Teria going in, getting that knock up onto Froshi, dashes in one more time, and that's going to be the auto attack that finishes him off. In the mid lane, for a second there, we saw that DCV was very low from Barracan. This harass is just so much right now, and Barracan is itemizing very beautifully. He's got 20% CDR with his current items, and then a good amount of mana regen too, so he's going to be in here for a while, especially with that blue buff.
Yeah, this is going to be really, really rough. We're starting to see the top and the mid snowball a little bit out of control. It's not too late for blue team, but if this Nunu doesn't maybe try to force a dragon, maybe try to force a little bit harder ganks, then we're going to see these these lanes snowball completely out of control.
Yeah, this game's gonna bust wide open if they're not careful. Rek'Sai once again using that ulti to get over to the top lane very, very quickly. I'd say that if it were me on Rek'Sai, I'd really think about showing up to Dragon with Elise, taking it down, and then using the ulti to get to lane from there, considering you've got such a sustained advantage.
Well, you got such a sustained advantage, you got such a gold lead on your top laner, like, you're not worried about Master Yi recovering at this point. You're worried about getting as far ahead as possible. Getting another kill is nice, but getting your whole team a Dragon, especially when the fact that your bot lane is losing, it'll help them so much.
For this red side, that Rek'Sai is the only one who seems to be ahead, so it's going to be kind of up to him and P-Tux working together and tag teaming to try to get the rest of the team up to their tier in terms of their gold value. So that Dragon play might have been a nice little thing they could do, but once again, the Master Yi would be constantly pushing that lane, and they might lose, a lot of turret damage to make that happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're fine with losing some turret pressure. You got a fed Xerath at this point. It's just about, I think if it's something that we need, I think Rek'Sai players just need to get used to, is instead of using that ultimate as a gank or as a get back to lane, you can use it for dragon pressure instead. Ooh, DCB goes in onto Xerath. Nice wall.
Oh, P-Tux shows up in the mid lane, lands the Cocoon onto Dark Crimson Blade, but he does not get the bite at the end of that. Actually, no, he did get it. He just did it very, very early, I guess, and it's execute damage. You typically want to wait until the person's as low as you could possibly get them before taking advantage of that little lunge it's got at the end.
Yep.
Alright.
Sorry, I was taking a drink. This is... I'm really shocked we're not seeing more emphasis on the Dragon, as Nunu finally comes over to sweep the pit, but neither team, Rek'Sai had a chance to force a Dragon. I forgive him for not quite seeing that play. That's definitely more of a techie play at the moment.
Right.
Nunu is starting it, but considering how far, how big this Lucian Thresh lane is, I feel like blue team should have, Darth Froshi even comes down to the Dragon pit too. I feel like this Dragon should have been done probably 4 minutes ago.
Yeah. They do end up picking it up, though. Froshi's going to have to back up into his top lane there. Rek'Sai is showing up to this section. He's going to get dashed on by Dark Crimson Blade, but I'm not sure DCB wants this fight. Ulti's coming out from Xerath, and the 2 out of the 3 ultis are going to hit him. One more Q underground is going to hit from Terry. He's looking for the knockup. Times it perfectly as the cooldown was just coming back up. Stun comes out from Barrakan to protect Terria as the rest of blue team starts following up, but P-Tux has already joined this fight. Ulti is going down from Nunu here, and all the bits is not going to do nearly enough damage before he gets taken out. 3 men in mid lane, I'd say start knocking over that mid lane turret.
Oh yeah, like there's no reason not to. I don't know what Taria's doing, but I would have gone, use your wave clear, at least get the wave to the mid tower immediately, but getting that mid tower was available. It was definitely free.
Yeah.
After a triple kill, that mid tower was easily able to knock
and considering he's got the ulti to get back to top lane again, there's no reason to rush. There's no reason to rush back there. You gave up your pressure to purchase more quickly. That was about it.
Yeah. Though we do see... That is a Tiamat. I'm a fan.
There we go.
I'm a fan.
Now we're going to see in the top lane that Yi is going to have a very hard time. I'm interested to see how this Raptor Cloak works out, because that does build into Omewrecker now. So is he going to be going for some turret dives, some techie turret dive plays?
I mean, that's a tough question. Ollie's getting messed up by the chickens right now.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, after tanking out that blue buff completely for Xerath, he's not having a good time.
That was quite the funny experience. But yeah, I kind of like the idea of Omewrecker. Let's look up the stats. I'm gonna look up the stats real quick. Stretch.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it's got some cooldown reduction, it's got some armor, some health regen, and it's not bad at all. It's just something that a lot of supports aren't picking up at the moment because it doesn't kind of get you that mana regen you're kind of looking for. Even though, honestly, I'd consider it for things like Tarek, Braum, Leona. They should be the ones who are considering that item.
All right, so it's 300 health, 50 armor, 100% base regeneration, not really what you're looking for, and 10% CDR, and then its ability.
Yeah.
That, if you're planning on... Oh my goodness, Nunu catches the cocoon, buckshot, and NATO all in the face.
Ooh. gets taken out in the river there, and now red side probably should rotate up to this mid lane turret again. The minions are there, and it looks like Azir is available. If they had rotated up, they could have picked up Azir and gotten a turret right there.
Yep. Oh my goodness. I mean, you don't want to lose your bot lane tower, but this mid lane tower should have gone down twice by now.
Oh my goodness, hook goes in from Jimmy the Slayer. It looks like Ptex is going to do a little bit of bite damage and take a turret shot for his troubles. But he's going to be safe in the very end as he backs up and they kind of siege this turret up. Xerath having that blue buff is going to be so advantageous for him. It's going to allow him to stick around forever. I think that's his second blue buff this game.
Yeah, I think so. Oh my goodness gracious. This is... Okay, so let's look at it. We're talking about red side. Let's talk about blue side.
All right.
How do they win this game? What can they do right now?
Play off this bot lane. More dragon fights. They need to get Jimmy the Slayer and Problems in a position to really destroy these team fights. They have all the zone control to keep these guys safe if they get caught in a 5v5. No one wants to walk around a Azir ult wall to walk into a Nuno ult. They just don't want to do it. And even if that happens, there's going to be the box there as we see a fight going down in the jungle as Terria tries to make a little sneaky play on this blue buff. I don't think his tunnel cooldown is up here, and he's caught auto-attacking in the middle of the team. That's going to be some shutdown going to Master Yi as Problems in the bot lane is trying to hold on to his minion wave there and keep it away from the turret. Jimmy the Slayer in the middle of the minions trying to auto-attack down this Janna, but her ult is going to keep her well and good as High Iron Bones lands 2 to 3 more auto-attacks on the back of Jimmy as he walks back towards the turret. And he's got his potions ticking up, so he's not too afraid, but he does need to be a little bit careful.
A little bit of critique for Problems right now. Jimmy was sitting there taking the entire bot lane for red side, and Problems backed up when he was low HP, which is fine, but he's not changing his situation any if he doesn't either go in or if he doesn't go back immediately.
Right.
Because all it is now is he's allowed Graves to get his cooldowns back. So now he's sitting under the tower, potentially going to die. He probably wanted to back as soon as this fight, as soon as he decided to retreat from this fight.
Yeah, and I think that what he's looking for is more auto-attack damage to come down from Jimmy, but he's got to be careful because Jimmy cannot trade with this Graves very well. Hook lands on the bottom lane, High Iron Bones gets pulled in, collateral damage just wipes out Jimmy completely, and the Xerath ulti support, the long-range barrage from the Dragon Pit just takes out that kill on Lucian. Fantastic roaming on Barakon there to recognize, hey, there's some aggression going on in the bottom lane. Let me participate.
Yeah, looks like Tarja DC'd maybe during that blue fight she was at. That's a bit unfortunate. Hopefully she's back now. But yeah, that whole bot lane situation right there could have happened if, as soon as Lucian disengaged, he immediately made the decision to go back, shop, heal up, and come back to lane.
Definitely.
Instead, he kind of wasted 30 seconds, allowed the cooldowns to come back up for Graves, and paid his life for it.
Yeah, definitely true. And both sides on the bottom lane are going to come back with that IE. Graves with a small boot advantage. Those Berserker Graves having just 10% more attack speed on him. It's not going to mean too much in this casting-based lane, but one auto attack can always be the difference, especially with that IE.
Yes.
As we see both sides resetting, kind of getting their bearings back in the lanes a bit. Azir and Xerath both with a Morellonomicon first start. Definitely the mana regen item of choice as of late, since Athene's Unholy Grail has gotten nerfed quite a bit.
Yeah, the that Athene's nerf, if you didn't read the patch notes, was devastating.
Mm-hmm.
It does not give as much mana as it used to. Oh my goodness.
Ooh, fight going down in the bottom lane here. Problems laying down the calling on the back of the pit there. Barakon landing some good abilities onto him though. All the bits get stunned out instantly before Absolute Zero can do anything. Barakon the sniper takes out Problems on the back of the team fight. Ptex kind of left in the 3v1 situation as Red Side pats the long way around this wall. It looks like High Iron Bones is trying to get in onto Dark Crimson Blade, but he will live throughout this fight. And now it's Jimmy the Slayer stuck underneath this turret by himself. It looks like they're trying to flank around. He's going to attempt to make a recall back to base, but it looks like Red Side has backed up, so he can't stick around now.
Yeah, we should be seeing a dragon play right now. Like, this turret can go down, but I feel like the dragon needs to be the point of emphasis.
Ooh,
dragon
hook.
is something that responds. Yeah, good hook by Jimmy, but just...
Without anyone else there, it doesn't mean that much.
Yeah.
So that red side turret looks like, or this blue side turret is going to go down. Good Tornado is going to make sure that Jimmy does go down to the last auto attack from Graves here. And literally, this is a free dragon for red side. I wouldn't even send your Xerath home at this point. Just have him rotate down.
Well, honestly, that was good play out of Jimmy, sacrificing his life to base. He sacrificed his life to bait the bot lane into not going to dragon. I would give up my life every time to stop a dragon, honestly. I'm not sure if that was an... Oh my goodness.
High and Boons dashes in, 2 auto attacks, takes out a third of Problem's health. Froshi dashes in, but he's going to reconsider his life choices here, but Nunu comes in on the back end. Snowball lands on High and Boons, and since he's only got auto attacks left, because of that low mana, it will be super significant. Darth Froshi flashes towards Cutie Kitty. Tornado misses because of the Alpha Strike. P-Tuck shows up, though, and is ready to cocoon somebody. He wants to get them in his World Wide Web, but looks like Froshi says, I'm still using dial-up, man. It's going to take a long time for that to connect.
Stress, get out, dude. Stress, you're fired, man. Shut the stream off, boys. Shut the stream off.
You don't like my internet jokes?
Your internet puns are unbelievably bad. Oh my goodness, as they get caught in the dragon pit.
Yeah, Barracon takes out E in the back of the pit. 2 ticks of that ult. He's going to take out Problems to a third of his HP bar, as he does have that death cap already. Hook lands onto Cutie Kitty, but it's going to be the cocoon that lands back onto Jimmy, so he cannot dash in. DCB showing up. He wants to catch out this Xerath, but he can't do it. Chariot showing up in the back of this team fight now, separated from the rest of the team. They're going to try to collapse on Dark Crimson Blade here, but the wall comes out, blocking everybody. The stun from Barracon will pick up the last hit on that Azir, though, and it looks like Red Side's going to force in this bottom lane. Cutie Kitty looking to go back to base, though, because they are quite low.
Oh my goodness, man. Yeah, Terria trying to pick up a loose kill right there. Doesn't find the red buff either. Oh well. This is turning into a chaotic fight, or a super chaotic team fights, because neither team can really decide what they want to do. They just want to fight, they want to brawl, they want to get kills. I mean, blue team with an excellent dragon call. They recognized that red team was a little slow on taking it, took advantage of that 30-40 second window that red team had taken it back, and just got a free dragon out of it. Unfortunately, afterwards they got caught in the dragon pit, caught a few Xerath ultis.
Yeah.
Just a rough time.
I'd say one of the win conditions for blue side now is to keep controlling these dragons. They're 2 dragons up to 0. If they can get to that 5 dragon power spike, there's a really good potential for them to force down, 3-4 turrets at a time if they haven't already gotten those, and really make a comeback play.
Yeah, and like we talked about, if any time that red team or blue team can fight in a narrow field like the river or in the jungle, it's to their advantage.
Good reverse insect coming out of Dark Crimson Blade, pushes High and Bones directly into his team, so Proms can zero him out. A lot of shield stacking coming out onto Barracon to just keep him alive. He gets the stun down, but Problems dashing forward just takes out P-Tux immediately. You'll notice that P-Tux's build is mainly centered around damage and cooldown reduction. He is not very resilient at all, so he's got to be very careful of his positioning.
Yeah,
oh my goodness, I didn't even know where that kill went down. Dark Crimson Blade almost eats that last tick of that ulti that killed Problems initially. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
One thing we're seeing coming out of both teams right now is neither team has a front line. Elise went full damage. Nunu's going utility damage at the moment. So, at the moment, anytime someone catches a Thresh Hook or a Cocoon or a Nado, anytime somebody gets picked, they go down almost immediately. So these fights are becoming who can land their CC first, who can get the first pick, which is really not the way I had figured these games were going to develop.
Yeah, well, Nuno's does have some tank items. He's got the green enchant, which is the health and cooldown reduction. So he is kind of resilient. The only issue is that people can kind of just walk around him. And no one's really afraid of the Absolute Zero, because at this point in the game, he's not even level 11, so it's not the second rank, and no one's really afraid of it. Hook goes down onto Terria, though, in the top lane. Absolute Zero comes down, and they're going to try to hold him in place. See that? That was like a half-charge Absolute Zero, and it must have only done 200 HP. That's not enough.
Terria is using his tunnels to just hop around and be kind of a jerk. Oh no, they're gonna let him.
He got spotted out by that ward, but they already turned in the wrong direction.
DCB's there. DCB's there. He's the man. There we go.
Picks up the kill there.
This is. Let's take a look at this mid lane. We see a 5,000 gold difference between these mid laners. Holy crap, man. 9-0 is that Xerath with a 100 or 90 CS lead. He has That's so much gold. High on Bones walks away from the Azir wall as DCB misses. Nice try though. Nice play. Nice play.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Let's see. What do you think, Stretch, of I never agree with finishing Hydra as an item, and we see both top laners doing that. What do you think of this?
See, this is a different situation, considering both of them are going to be in the middle of the enemy team actually auto-attacking. So the Hydra does allow them to be a little bit more resilient. At this point, though, I'd say you want to prioritize your resistances, considering that Hydra is going to be giving you more actual physical HP. So Thorn Mills are super effective here. Banshee's Veils are really nice. Also, Spirit Visages are extra nice for when you're going in.
Yeah, I mean, allow me to clarify. I don't ever agree with finishing Hydra first. Like, Tiamat as an item is great, you know, picking it up by itself, and then going some sort of resistance item is good. I feel like it's too early to sink the, what is it, 1800 gold to upgrade the item?
Yeah. It is,
oh my goodness.
It's 1800 about, and two abilities. Is this going to be the snipe? There it goes! He's so good with that. Oh my goodness. Picks up the kill right there. He must have picked up 5 kills this game with that ulti already. It's very rare to see a Xerath that accurate with his ulti.
Yes, Xerath is just the sniper this game, man. Collateral damage comes out, misses everybody but Nunu. DCB walks away, catches the Elise execute right there. Oh my word. I can't even. Sorry guys, I'm not the best play-by-play as I'm just watching Xerath pick off everybody and their mother at the same time.
Pretty much. Hook lands onto P-Tux there in the mid lane. 1v1 versus Jimmy the Slayer. The box does come down and he's kind of leading them away from that fight. He does not want to tango with Terraria. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say, did the Spider Legs go down for that Cocoon land? And I was like, that doesn't make any sense, that's a Thresh. Of course there was no Spider Legs.
Looks like we're gonna see Red Team picking up their first dragon right now. Good call, they finally managed to get that, they got a tower, they won the team fight, and they're getting a dragon. Can't really ask for more. Oh, yeah, this is quickly going out of control as we see the 11k gold lead coming in from blue team. They just kind of keep catching at the wrong time. Someone gets caught with the cocoon, with the cocoon, the Xerath Sun or the Janna Nados. Just every time, right at the wrong moments. After you forced to use his ulti though.
Yeah, but over in the mid lane, now Terry is caught in a tight position. This damage from DCB is going to be significant. Stun lands onto Barracon, does not charge his Q up quite enough to reach. And that means that blue side is going to continue this push down the mid lane. They're going to have their support coming up very soon here. A little bit of poke damage going out onto P-Tux is going to chunk him down about half HP. Another ulti barrage coming out from Barracon. This time will not pick up the kill, even after a bit of hesitation. That means that blue side's going to have the opportunity to back off a bit, reset, look for another play.
Yeah, this is getting rough too. Earlier we had identified Lucian as the key member to win this game because he was the one with a gold lead on his team. But even now we see the Graves has about a 400 gold lead on Lucian. So it's in terms of win conditions, the windows are closing for blue team. They just need to start playing slow, and praying that red team does something stupid like do a 2-man tower dive or something.
Yeah, they've got a 12k gold lead at the moment, and a lot of that is on the back of the Xerath, who's very, very hard to get to. He's got a significant amount of peel on his side with this Janna, with the Elise, and with this Rek'Sai can knock up people, so you gotta be careful. I think what they need to do is get some more coverage in the jungle, keep looking for these fights in tight locations, try to get a quick pick, and then continue the team fight after that, maybe play off some of these Master Yi resets as we see one single Q for Xerath chunk out problems for half his HP. He needs lifesteal, magic resist, defenses please. You need defenses because the enemy team barely has armor right now. P-Tux is just now getting to his armor. I'd say even just a quick Vampiric's going to do a lot of work.
This is getting brutal, man. I really hope we see it. Terraria picking up the top tower for free right there. I really hope we see a shift in play coming from High on Bones right now too, because Graves as a champion is so resilient with his armor passive. I hope to see him play more of that assassin role, and Cutie Kitty, instead of trying to peel for Graves, just sticks to Xerath. Xerath is their money right now. If Cutie Kitty stays on top of Xerath, there is absolutely no way that blue team can do anything about it. Yi will never get close to him.
And he is really the only dive threat that the Yoni's got. I mean, Azir's a bit too large, a bit too slow to get into the backline quick enough to really take someone out like Zera. And I don't even think he's got enough damage to make it happen right now, as we see DCB pushing two of the red side back into his turret as he has to run away now. He did get high and both substantially low, but unfortunately the amount of people that have showed up will deter him from going in and finishing that kill. Pause comes out, as we see someone may have some technical difficulties there.
Yeah, not a big deal. My game for so DCB looks like he's having some lag issues. So hopefully that'll sort itself out real quick. Oh my goodness, man. So let's take a look at some of these itemizations. We do see that Omewrecker finished on Terria, by the way. I love it.
Choice. I like the diversity a lot. The cooldown reduction will do a lot of work for him, as well as that tower disabling. I mean, like we saw on that play with Azir just then, you know, the turrets are going to be a big point of safety for this blue side team. So if they can take away that for even, you know, how long is this? 3 seconds. Even if it's 3 seconds, that's going to be huge, especially since I think that disable resets the damage amplification over time. You can get a lot of work done with that, I think.
Yeah, Stretch, let me ask you then. You're a top laner. You like to play a lot of top lane. Let's say you're as head as Terry is at the moment. She's got a 2.4k gold lead at the moment. Would you be willing to build an Omewrecker at the moment?
No.
No? Why not?
It's
got CDR, it's got hit points, it's got armor, and it only costs 2,600 gold.
Okay. So it seems to be a cheap and pretty effective item, but it's very unfamiliar to me. I'd have to test it before I'm comfortable with doing it. It's the issue. And you know me, I love turret diving. But if it were me, I would probably go, you know, finish off the Hydra, because on Rek'Sai I feel like Hydra is actually very, very strong. And then pick up a Warden's Mail and a Spectre's Kell. And then from there pick up the Giant's Belt for my Randuins. That's how I would spend all of the gold outside of this, outside of the Hydra, I'd say.
Okay. Because I'm just looking at some comparable items at the moment. Because you have, for example, Sunfire Cape also costs 2,600 gold. It gives 45 armor, so it's 5 armor less. It gives no CDR, and it gives 150 health less. So I feel like if you're going to go Sunfire Cape, Omewrecker, if you plan on diving, might just be a more efficient item.
Wait, hold on. You said Sunfire Cape gives 150 less? Or
it gives 150 more.
Okay, I was going to say...
Yeah, it gives 450.
Health,
no, it gives 450 health versus the 300, but you get 10% CDR, the active, and 5 more armor.
Yeah, but here's the thing: I don't even like Sunfire Cape that much.
I don't either. I
feel like it's just not as good as it used to be. When it was 40 flat, like all the time per second AOE, it was crushing health bars. But now that's been per level. It's been tweaked more into line, and I really prefer Throne Mail more. But you said that Omewrecker's 2,600?
Let me double check that. Yeah, it is 2,600 gold, which seems really extraordinarily cheap.
Yeah, 300 health, 50 armor, regen, that's pretty nice. And then you actually have movement speed around turrets as well. Is that all turrets? I'm assuming it's every turret, so your turret play is more significant too.
I mean, I'm just, you know, I've never even considered it after the change they did to it with the Season 5 changes. When they took the AP away, gave it armor, gave it health, and took it away from that Catalyst build route. But now that I see somebody building it, I am intrigued. It's definitely something you have to be willing to join your team to take advantage of. But I think if you're willing to do it, it might be a pretty good pickup.
I think the stats don't sound bad. They don't sound bad, and I like the passive that it has. 3 seconds is a long time. It
is a long time. Dude, you could regenerate as Zac in that time.
I could regenerate as Zac in that time. That is a... Alright, so as a tank player, I'm thinking you go in, you take 2 turret shots initially. Because everything after that is devastating. But you take the first 2, you disable it for 3 seconds, that's pretty much 3 turret shots you don't take, and then it resets. I think it resets the damage. I'm not even sure, but even so, negating 3 turret shots on you is enormous. I don't even know, does it change aggro? Like, when it comes back up, will the first person who hits the next person take the aggro? Because if so, that's bad then. As the tank, I want to hold the aggro on the turret.
Well, it would probably be whoever deals damage to the... I don't know. Are we back in the game? Is that what I see? Okay, we're back in the game. we'll stop talking about Omrecker, but that might be a conversation we continue later.
I gotta look into that item now. I'm curious.
Oh my goodness, Omrecker OP, man. Secret, dude. Imagine a world where you go.
Oh my goodness! Hook lands from max range over the wall into high and bones, and he dashes into the dragon pit. Cutie Kitty is left on her lonesome and has to get ulti people away. The exhaust goes down to Darth Froshi. He does not have ulti to break that out. It looks like Problems is now caught in the middle of a fight with Terry in the jungle. This is the tight location fights that Blue Team usually is looking for, but they don't have DCB to throw the wall up for them. And he finally shows up at this fight. It's a little bit too late as Barracon's getting away. Cutie Kitty with a fantastic knockoff will keep Jimmy the Slayer away. The stun will not land onto him, and he's going to turn around and throw the hook. He actually gets zapped away by that Xerath at the last second. Problems is looking around the corner. Oh my goodness, the lightning storm is real. And if you do not have magic resist, you will be chunked out.
Barracon is a monster this game. We've been kind of not trying to overplay it, but he is just killing everything. He is a true machine gun, dude.
Let's look at his score. He's 13-0-4. He's done a fantastic job of making sure that his farm is kept up in the game, despite all the kills he's been focusing on. And he's just doing a great job as DCB catches out Terraria, trying to push down that top lane turret solo.
Yeah, this is I don't even know what you do if you're Blue Team at this point. You really need. This is actually a good situation for them. The three-man squad from Red Team, the Xerath, the Elise, and the Janna have overstayed their welcome, and everyone has respawned on Blue. If they manage to catch them out right here, they might be able to sneak a Baron, force a tower, do something.
Yeah, and they tried to send Jimmy into that fight there as DCB shows up and eats a collateral damage from High Bones. Problem's doing a great job of focusing Graves in this fight, but he's going to have to get away from P-Tuck's. Bite comes out and he flashes away, but not a significant amount of damage coming out of that fight there.
Yeah, spiders are scary, but P-Tuck does not have any damage at the moment, man. He does get a flash for his troubles, though.
Rek'Sai ulti gets used and he goes back to pushing top solo. This is not a good idea as his team does not have any pressure on the map. They've all backed up and waiting for this dragon to spawn.
Yeah, good idea to keep pressure on the top lane, just not to try to force the dragon or the tower, because dragon is up in 25 seconds. As we talked about, dragon is a key objective for Blue Team. They need to get to that 5 dragon spike way before Red Team can. So by pressuring the side lanes, Rek'Sai is trying to give his team a chance to snipe this dragon.
Yeah, you do have to be careful though. Red side has already picked up their first dragon of the game, so one more and they will pick up the 2 dragon buff. And it looks like Terry is just using this Omrecron cooldown, trying to get into these turrets and disable them, get a few auto attacks in and leave. So interesting usage here. What's the cooldown on this side?
I don't. Look at this. We don't even know about this item, man.
It's a 2-minute cooldown for 3 seconds of tower disable. Does it?
Dude, you only if you're gonna team fight early, 2 minutes is plenty of that is a sufficient cooldown. Oh my goodness, Darth Froshi catches a cocoon and gets buckshotted in the face for his trouble. Is that a Baron? I would probably do Baron right now, to be honest with you. You're only worried about Darth Froshi getting onto Barrakan, and it's not gonna happen when he's dead.
Very true. Honestly, the Red Team seems to be having a little bit of trouble pushing in.
With Graves, I would expect that. Pretty much what they need to do at this point is use that Omrecker to force a tower dive, take the tower, and then take the fight.
Yeah, honestly, that's probably a good move here, especially, it looks like topside DCB's ultimate is down. If they can recognize that and regroup mid, they're going to be in a good spot to just knock it over.
Yeah, how much longer? So it's probably about, what would you say, 40 seconds on the Omrecker? The problem with these, Graves, Sivir, any short-range ADC is they have such a hard time sieging, and I feel like Omrecker might be able to solve that problem all by itself.
Yeah, pretty much. It looks like Darth Froshi ends up going to the fight solo. His tank line is not there to follow up with him, and that after that turret goes down, you really don't want to be in the fight as a non-tank character.
Nope. No, you don't want to be on the front line, period, if you are a Master Yi or any squishy champion at all.
Good binding goes down from P-Tux, and that's going to signal the chunking out from Barrakan there. They're trying to get out of this one. They're just going to land the retreat poke as they leave the fight. Hook lands onto Terrio, but Jimmy is not brave enough to go after that one over the wall.
Yeah, this is getting a little brutal for Blue. Well, actually, it's been brutal the whole time. This retreat poke is real, man.
Yeah.
They need a key. Jimmy needs to get a key target onto someone like Baharkhan, and blue team just needs to go. They just need to go. They need to rely on the exhaust and the Nunu snowball to shut down Tarja and Graves and just get Xerath. That's it. It's the only chance they have, man.
If Xerath doesn't go down, and unfortunately he's so hard to take down. He's got all this peel. Oh my goodness, he's got all this peel and the Zonia's Hourglass. So I don't know. I've got no clue what he's going to do.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that red team needs to do is chain Q to Kitty to Xerath. They Parker next to him, and this game's probably over. But we haven't seen that play coming out of Q to Kitty. It's really hard as a support player to recognize when your AD carry is no longer the all-star, and that's not who you're peeling for. But if your Xerath is 14-0, he probably needs more peel than your Graves.
That is very, very true.
We do see a QSS coming on to problems. I don't think that's the item he needs to survive the Xerath. The MR is nice, but probably a Banshee's Veil to ignore the Cocoon or ignore a Xerath Bomb.
Yeah, that's where you would want to get here, but they are quickly approaching a 20k gold lead, so even at that point, you know, that's 4k per team member. That's a lot of gold. So, like, I think he's going for as much magic resistance as he can muster in a single item, like, right away, but even then, I'd say probably Spectre's Cowl, even if that's all he could afford, would be the better choice.
Kitty gets caught out right here, gets the Thrush Box. P-Tux may go down, too.
Ooh, if Cullen goes out, it does not land, so they decide to turn around here. Actually, he's going to descend on the team there. All the bits throws down the ulti, but this is just going to be a fantastic fight for Barakon and Iron Bones. All of the cooldowns have been burned for blue side, and that just opens them wide up so picking people off.
Just win the game here. I really liked the decision on the blue team. They had managed to pick the Janna. They needed to fight. They needed to fight right then. Unfortunately, they focused on P-Tux. Xerath snipes DCP. What the heck, man? But blue team had to fight. There's no way you inch your way back from a 20k gold lead. They had a 4v5. Did Omrecker just disable 2 towers?
Yeah, it did.
That's OP.
It's all nearby turrets. Like, I'm starting to like this item a lot.
That's OP, dude. Omrecker MVP.
Omrecker's the swag item right now, dude. I'm telling you.
Dude, I don't even think that's the swag item. I think that's your second item. I think you build your Thornmail and then you build your Omrecker.
I'm considering it because, like, with my Zac rune page, I'd have to take 10% CDR, or 10% less CDR into game, because I open the game with 20%. Taking Omrecker second means I can't build Spirit Visage. Wait.
Okay.
Does it? No, I can't. Wait. I just sit on 40% all game. No. Hold on. Now I'm confused on my own build paths. Ninja Tab by Thornmail, Sunfire Cape, Abyssal Scepter, Leandri's, and Omrecker. Am I missing something? I'm missing something.
I don't know, dude. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and start this game up while Stretch does some, Sorry guys, we are extremely impressed by that Omrecker pickup.
Dude, I just never see it, so it's like, to squeeze it into your build, especially on like a Rek'Sai pick, is very unusual and impressive.
Yeah, very, very much so. Alright, so we're gonna create... Alright, so I am looking for new bloods, guys. If you have not played tonight, make sure you say it in the chat. Silent Macro wants in.
So P-Tux is asking how can he improve his jungle play. Just a quick tip, P-Tux. Prioritize the green enchant over blue for Elise. I don't think the AP does too much for you, whereas the cooldown reduction and the tanky stats will do a little bit more for you, since you thrive a little bit more on penetration than flat AP.
Yep. P-Tux was the Elise, right?
Yes, he was the Elise.
Yeah. If you're not gonna go full mage,